I'm Tim Wadsworth of the BBC, here with Rome, a documentary crew's journey documented.
Rome is known as the City of Seven Hills, and it is located on the Tiber River. It was the center of the enormous Roman Empire that surrounded the Mediterranean, and its extraordinary history attracts tourists from around the world.
And now we're back with the documentary film crew behind Rome, an expedition through the ages. With me today is Bradbury Jones, Carlos Santamarici, and Greg. Now, Carlos, you're the producer and the driving force behind this documentary. And what is it that began your extraordinary journey?
Well, we were all friends to begin with before this, and we just really wanted to go on an adventure, and we thought it'd be cool to share it with other people. And we really were surprised at the end about the beauties and the majesties, and we just wanted to show that with everybody else.
And show it to the world you did. However, when you're going to a new country that is completely unfamiliar to you, and you don't know how to speak their language, and you're an amateur film crew, there must have been several conflicts that arose, inevitably. And how did you overcome those conflicts?
Well, I think as a group, we picked up a little of the Italian language just by listening to the people there and interacting with them on a day-to-day basis.
Very interesting was when I was watching your documentary was that there was this beautiful scenery and landscape, and I couldn't help but notice that such typography must have had an enormous influence on the Roman culture. And what was your understanding of that?
When we got into Rome and we were driving our taxi, we saw many rolling hills, but then when we got to the city, it was very, very dense. This taught us about ancient civilizations and how they developed.
So you noticed the difference in the city density when you were most near the Tiber River. That's extraordinary. Now, when you're going to a city as old as Rome, I'm sure that the religious influence in its foundation is very visible. And what parts showed through the most from your perspective?
As in any culture, religion plays an extremely important part, and that being such an ancient city, that was a major part when it was formed. The churches from ancient times there were absolutely beautiful and majestic, and we actually were privileged to go in one and explore it.
What did you find stood out the most in Italian culture?
Well, like as you said, the food. That was unlike anything I've ever had. The homemade traditional Italian food was different than you would expect.
Really? How so?
Well, Tim, for example, I have tasted many of the dishes, such as the pasta and the carbonaro, and I have discovered that the European authenticity makes everything purely unique and fabulous.
What is it that you all found about the Roman architecture and achievement of their history that really screams through the past, that shows in the now?
Well, to be honest, as we were there, you can see in the movie that we actually went to the Colosseum, and it was pretty awesome. We got to, as you know, in the Colosseum there's arches, and that's kind of relevant today because that's where it came from, that's where it originated.
documentary was when all of you went and explored the Italian supercars. How did that begin? How did that come about? And what was it like?
At first, we did it because we wanted to greater educate ourselves about Italian engineering, but in the end, it turned out that we promoted more people to join and watch our documentaries because we made it more fun.
Of course. Wow, that you hooked me with those great scenes. Well, gentlemen, I have to say that, as with any documentary, it's always difficult to capture the values and the important things behind a society, and you all did a very good job with that. So, thank you very much for being here to talk with us today about Rome, a documentary through the ages. And I hope to see you all again.
Hope to see you soon. Thanks for having us.
It was a pleasure.
Yes. From the BBC, I'm Tim Wadsworth with Rome, a documentary through the ages. Document.
So, I was documenting a documentary.